Hello and welcome to day 22 of Vlogmas. Now, yesterday I put out a video talking about the things that I love about Christmas in America, but I purposely omitted one particular aspect, and that is the people with whom I spend Christmas. In other words, a family, my family, well, not my family live in England, but Tara's family, my wife's family, and just the notion of spending Christmas with an American family, something that I think, anyway, in a generalized way, differs from spending Christmas with a British family. Now, of course, in both cases, I only have my own sort of personal experiences from which to draw, but I think in both cases, they are pretty decent microcosms of how Christmas plays out familially. Is that a word, familially? It is now. It's a tough one to say, especially after some brandy. It's not, it's coffee, don't worry. And so I'd like to sing the praises, I think, of the American Christmas family and what that kind of entails. You know, when I first moved to the US, I've talked about it many times. It was 10 years ago, and we were well into the throes of the Christmas season, and everything was coming at me thick and fast. You know, all of the differences that I spoke about in yesterday's video, and all of that, and I didn't know what to expect come Christmas Day. I just imagined it would be like how it was back home, and when I say what it was like back home, I mean that I would, you know, just spend Christmas with my parents, my aunt and uncle, and my nana and my two brothers. It would just be the, however many that is, 8 of us or so. My memory of that is it was somewhat of a quiet affair, you know. We'd all just sort of congregate in the living room and share jokes and all of that. And of course, I have fantastic memories of that kind of occasion. I have to say that because my mum's watching. No, I'm kidding. It is, you know, something that I greatly miss, and I love that sort of intimate setting very much. But now I go back to that first Christmas, not the first Christmas, that was when Christ was born. My first Christmas in America. Didn't know what to expect. You know, I think when I woke up that morning, I knew that people were invited, but I didn't know firstly that they'd all show up, and I didn't know how many there would be. And so, you know, you wake up on Christmas morning, you do all of the present opening, and that's itself fun. We were all, you know, parked in the living room in our PJs, as they say here in the US, just each with a sack of presents sitting around, you know, on the sofas. Not unlike, I think, a lot of British Christmas. I don't remember in my own British Christmas, since turning into the age of 9, sitting around in my pajamas in the morning, probably just my underpants, which doubled up as my pajamas after the age of 9, I think. But I'm getting sidetracked, and it was lovely, you know. It was the volume was already getting high in that living room. There tends to be a lot of chatter and loud chatter. That could just be Tara's family, you know. They are more raucous, if that's the right word, than my own family. She's not here to defend herself, nor are they. And there are dogs running around sifting through all the discarded wrappers and all that. And they're huge dogs because it's America, and even the dogs are bigger here, believe it or not. If anything, that kind of lively, loud morning at least wakes you up. And you're in good spirits because it's Christmas, so you don't really mind the noise, even though ordinarily I do. And then the food that I talked about yesterday, that the ham and all of the sides that come with it, they start getting made, not by me. I'm no good in the kitchen, so they keep me out. I do the dishes afterward, in theory, if I don't get too drunk on the drinks behind me. I haven't had any of those yet. They're just waiting in the wings, literally, because they're on both sides. That gets going, and so you just sort of relax for a bit, play with your new toys. They're not toys, I'm an adult now, just a pair of socks and more pajamas for next year is what you get. And it's all lovely, it's all relaxing, you know, and then one by one, the people start to show up, the other family members, the extended family. So we're not just talking an aunt and an uncle here and there. We're talking all of the aunts and uncles, and we're talking both sets of grandparents, and we're talking cousins and things like that, and even friends of cousins and friends of their friends. And suddenly, before you know it, there are 58 people in the house. And, you know, at first, I think for the first few Christmases, actually, this was quite an overwhelming experience for me. I've talked about it before that I am quite introverted, and so that kind of situation for me is sort of difficult to move into, I think. Although I did have an out in the sense that I was this new person to not only the family but the country. I came with a nice accent, so everybody was asking about that, and it was very easy to respond to that, of course. And it was quite delightful in those early days. But after the sheen, after that novelty wore off for people as the years went on, I could enjoy that family aspect, I think, in a much stronger way. And I needed to, perhaps, because let's not forget that I've been away now, at this point, from my own parents, at Christmas anyway, for 12 years. It was actually 2006 was the last time I had a Christmas with my British family, because in 2007, the year before moving here, I made the decision with Tara to just spend it alone with her in London, thinking that normal service would resume the year after, and we're still waiting for normal service to resume. In fact, normal service now is spending Christmas with my American family. Not this year. This year we have made the decision to spend it alone in Chicago, but normal service will resume next year, I promise. It just depends what normal service is. Will it be in Britain? Perhaps it will. That would be nice. You know, it would be nice to go back to that and to see my family, you know. But as I was saying a moment ago, I think that having that continual experience of a much bigger, much grander Christmas family get-together, which I think is more common here, as I said, in the United States, for all the family to pile into one place. I'm not saying everybody does that, but that's the impression I get just from talking to colleagues and friends and things like that, and how they shared their Christmas. Now, of course, you do have those family members perhaps with whom you don't see eye to eye, although there are no instances of that in my family, I promise. Anybody who's from Tara's family watching this, I have to make that clear. You're probably very nervous watching this now, aren't you? Honestly, I love you all. You're great. You're fabulous. You're Ali. I won't do that ever again. Now, of course, there are no Christmas crackers like you would have in England. That can be an icebreaker, frankly. So you have to find other ways. And perhaps that is, well, instead of wearing a paper hat, you wear another type of stupid hat, one that actually sings and moves and makes you look ridiculous, and then makes people laugh, not just with you, but at you. Never doing that again. No, I'm kidding. They're all the rage here, I think, and specifically in Tara's family. I think, if I ever move back to England and this becomes part of my history rather than my present, the thing I may well remember about Christmases in America with an American family is one sound in particular, and that's laughter, because I think that's the overriding sound. People just are joyous. It's Christmas. That makes absolute sense. But when I talk about a sort of a raucous family, at that time of year, that is the sound that emanates from their mouths. I'm not sure where else it's supposed to emanate from, but, you get the picture. It is a happy environment. I'm not saying that all are, but this is extra happy because there are so many and you bounce off each other. One of the chief reasons that Americans are able to have these sort of bigger family get-togethers is simply that the size of the houses is much larger here in the US. So everything just becomes bigger, the houses, the dogs, the chatter, the number of family. And it's sort of like Home Alone for everyone. The McAllister family is sort of indicative of that spirit. Not that everybody is super wealthy and living in the Chicago suburbs and going to Florida for Christmas and leaving their child home alone. Although that did happen to me once, but I was an adult, so it was fine. But in the sense that there are so many of them, and that there is bickering that goes on, but through it all there is love and there's joy and happy endings, unless you didn't want My Little Pony pajamas. It is interesting, and I said this yesterday about just the lights on the front of the house, that everything about Home Alone seems highly accentuated, but in some respects the grandiosity of it rings true. I just wish we all had a John Williams soundtrack. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And so that's it. If you are British and you ever get a chance to spend Christmas in America, specifically with an American family, then I highly suggest you do it, and you'll come back feeling very rosy and very happy, unless you really don't like people. If you don't like people, then you're going to struggle. I've sort of warmed to people. I've had to, because some of them force hugs on me. British people don't like hugs. We've discussed this before. But I get through it, and sometimes, all right, it's okay, and we're all happy at the end of the day. Speaking of happy, have a very, very, very happy Christmas. Keep watching Vlogmas. We're going to be doing it, of course, through Christmas Day, and it's going to be lovely. So, yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and if you would like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.